In Macau, Zai Meng hacks into the police system to mess with their surveillance footage. An officer notices some static on his screen, but it disappears quickly, so he thinks it's nothing. Suddenly an alarm goes off, alerting the police that an important bank has been broken into. They immediately send out their best team and activate an AI surveillance system called Spice. The computer checks every camera in the city and finds the car with the thieves, whose hands are strangely empty. Multiple police vehicles rush to that location, however they find the street empty. The officers in the station can still see the robber's car on the screen, and they finally realize that their computers have been hacked with fake footage, which means the thieves have already escaped. The next day the police discover that only one vault was robbed. It belongs to a wealthy businessman who kept a notebook with half of the password to his crypto account, valued at $500 million. At Macau Tower, the thieves are taking over the offices of a digital asset management company. A few employees are beaten up and soon the staff is taken hostage. One employee is forced to open the door to the company server, and Xiao Xin uses a computer to grant Zai Meng access. While they download the file with the other half of the encrypted password, they notice that this company works with many important clients, including the CEO of the most important crypto asset in the country. His account has military-grade protection and is valued at 10 billion. Zai Meng asks Xiao Xin to copy that information too, ignoring gang leader Long Sheng when he tells them not to waste time. At that moment the police arrive and the thieves rush to the elevator. Long Sheng is at a cafe in the lobby so he can walk away without suspicion, although he accidentally walks in front of a barista while she's taking a picture. When the gang comes out of the elevator they're seen by the cops, so a chase ensues. The criminals bring down several civilians as they try to find an exit, but eventually they find the way blocked and the officers catch up to them. The teams start fighting each other with impressive skill, and in the struggle, the thieves manage to grab Captain Yao Lei hostage. The other officers can't open fire, so they have to watch the criminals escape into the elevator with their captain. Outside, Long Sheng tells his driver to go even though the gang isn't back yet. When the elevator reaches the higher floors, Yao Lei starts fighting the thieves again, but he's just one man against four and they defeat him by handcuffing him to the railing. The thieves get off on the observation deck and Yao Lei quickly unlocks his handcuffs to go after them. However, the gang has brought parachutes, so they just jump off the tower to escape. On their way out they push a woman who hangs on the edge at the last second, and Yao Lei has to help her. Since the elevators are hacked, Yao Lei leaves the tower by tackling a bungee jumper, and he lands safely on an emergency inflatable mattress. Another team of cops is waiting for the thieves when they land on a hotel's roof and another fight begins. The criminals easily bring the officers down and use hidden tools in their masks to jump off the roof. They quickly change their clothes while Zai Meng keeps on deleting all footage from security cameras so Spice can't follow them. Soon the police's surveillance system is shut down completely and Yao Lei starts searching the hotel on foot. They turn on their body cameras so they can capture every person who walks by, hoping the face recognition software will catch them. Long Sheng also makes it to the hotel in disguise and causes a bunch of distractions to keep the manager's attention away from his gang. The thieves sneak around the different rooms by constantly changing disguises that allow them to pass off as tourists or employees. Yao Lei sees Xiao Xin and recognizes the earring from the elevator fight, so he chases after him, but Xiao Xin hides by pretending to be one of the many clients in the cafeteria. Suddenly the camera detects that one of the faces passing by isn't in the system, so the cops go after the guy. Long Sheng bumps into an officer on purpose to smudge his camera lens. Xiao Xin uses the chance to move too and the officer team splits to go after both men. However, Xiao Xin dresses as a woman and his partner becomes an old man, allowing them to escape. In the lobby there's a special light event and the rest of the thieves mingle in the crowd by pretending to be security. When the cops arrive, the criminals jump into the decorations pit and escape by sneaking under the platform. Later in the police station, the businessman starts yelling and breaking things because his account has been emptied. The team discusses how to proceed and Inspector Zumai says they should bring back her retired boss. Yao Lei points out that an old man won't know how to deal with AI tracking, but Zumai reminds him that Spice is useless now that it's been hacked, so they need someone who remembers how to do police work the old-fashioned way. Officers Jin Xiao and Qiu Guo are sent to recruit the legendary Agent Wang, whose file is filled with amazing feats. He's a special ops champion, police hand-to-hand champion, and proficient in multiple areas like firearms and intelligence gathering. His only mistake in his career was accidentally getting his partner killed. When the duo arrives at a quiet neighborhood, they're shocked to see Wang simply walking dogs. Qiu Guo follows Wang to a cafe and pretends she's just a student. However, Wang sits at her table and reveals he's seen her and Jin Xiao following him all day, he even knows her name. It turns out Qiu Guo is his dead best friend's daughter and they haven't seen each other since she was a kid. Wang congratulates her for inheriting her father's badge number and proceeds to list all the things the duo did wrong while following him. He's also stolen Jin Xiao's badge without him noticing. Moments later Wang is at the station looking at all the footage the cops gathered with their body cams and whatever the hotel could find before they got hacked. After watching it for just a few minutes, Wang easily finds all the thieves because they looked at the cameras to check if they were still on. At the gang's hideout, Long Sheng starts beating Zai Meng up for the wasted time since it almost got them caught. When Xiao Xin tries to defend him, Long Sheng hits him as well, furious because he's been caught on camera after years of living in the shadows. A fight ensues and Longsheng pulls out a knife, so all the thieves have to work together to calm Longsheng down. After putting together all the screenshots they could find of the thieves, Wong notices a man in a long coat who also appears a lot in the footage. The police receive the picture that the barista took and conclude that this man was also part of the gang. Wong remembers a wanted former agent known as the Shadow who served an elite assassination squad during the war. He quit the force in the 80s to seek wealth and vanished without a trace in 1999. He thinks this mysterious man is the Shadow returning and wants to send out a surveillance team to find him. Zumai explains they don't have a surveillance team anymore because Spice replaced it, but she'll allow him to form an emergency squad for this case. Wong is skeptical because nobody can be trained in such a short amount of time. Later in the gym, Chu Guo is trying to train but the other cops keep mocking her for being too small for a cop. Chu Guo tries to ignore them but ends up snapping and fighting them, easily bringing down an officer in front of his men. Wong sees all this and congratulates her in private, saying this has earned her their respect. In the evening, Wong drinks on the roof and remembers the death of Chu Guo's father. He promises to take good care of her in his memory. The next day, Wong announces he'll train a surveillance team and Chu Guo signs up. He teaches them how to move without giving away that they're cops and to memorize every detail no matter how insignificant it may be. On the first day on the street, the team pretends to be citizens to keep up their covers, but Wong keeps Chu Guo in the van with him because she's his hidden ace. Whenever someone makes a mistake, Wong leaves the van just to scold them. 12 days later, Zai Meng is trying to plan a last mission so Longsheng can be at peace and they can all retire for good. He's found the server location of the CEO's account, but the digital vault is hard to access. A flashback reveals that all the thieves are orphans whom Longsheng would often visit to bring them money. In return the boys helped Longsheng hide when the police were after him in 1999, and they've been together since. On day 15, Chu Guo goes out to get food and on her way back to the van, she sees some women being attacked by drunk men. Wong reminds her that she's undercover and she should call the regular police, but Chu Guo ignores him and goes to confront the men. A fight ensues and she manages to land a few hits, but there are too many men to fight them alone. At that moment Wong shows up and easily defeats all the guys in seconds while the victims run away. Afterward in the van, Wong scolds Chu Guo for almost ruining the mission. She doesn't think they're doing real work, so Wong tells her what happened to her father. They were undercover for 8 months, and a young Wong was tired of doing nothing. When he saw some criminals trying to kidnap a child he decided to intervene and the gang almost killed him. Chu Guo's father tried to help him, so the kidnappers shot him down before running away. In tears, Wong tells Chu Guo that a police officer must always stay rational. Moments later, Wong thinks he sees Longsheng at the local market and alerts everyone. The team moves to surround the market while Wong asks Chu Guo to follow their target up close since she's the only officer whom Longsheng hasn't seen. When Longsheng almost sees 2 of the cops, they kiss to keep their faces hidden. Chu Guo pretends she's looking for something on the ground and sees Longsheng's reflection, confirming his identity. Wong keeps everyone from moving the camera or turning around, so Longsheng leaves without suspicion. Afterward the team follows him from the shadows and discovers which building he's getting into. Chu Guo decides to go inside as well and Longsheng recognizes her from the market, so he gets his knife ready. At the same time, Wong is double-checking the footage and notices that Longsheng looked at Chu Guo twice. Realizing he'll recognize her, he rushes into the building too and pretends to be her dad, scolding her while removing her earpiece. Wong chats casually with Longsheng and offers him an apple, allowing him to get a good clean shot of his face with the camera hidden in the fruit. That piece of apple is dropped in the elevator before the duo gets off. Longsheng continues to watch them, so Wong picks the lock in a random apartment and they go inside. The lady living inside freaks out and Wong has to grab her to keep her silent. Thanks to the Apple camera, the team sees that Longsheng is going to the 8th floor, so Jin Xiao rushes ahead and installs a few hidden cameras on that area. They discover that Longsheng lives in apartment 802 so now the cops can make their next move. Wong's team rents an apartment across the street to spy on Longsheng from afar and steal his trash. They find a bunch of torn Sudoku puzzles, but they're all unsolvable. Meanwhile Longsheng spends his time popping bubble wrap. Later at the market, Wong continues to pretend to be a neighbor and Longsheng approaches him with some chit-chat while secretly scanning him for hidden devices. They talk about their fake lives and Wong says he has a gambling problem, so the calluses on his hands are from playing cards and not holding a gun. He invites Longsheng to dinner and to everyone's shock he accepts. In the evening, Wong and Chu Guo pay the lady to use her apartment. When Longsheng arrives, he scans every corner for hidden devices. During dinner, he puts his phone on the table and Chu Guo does the same so she can steal his information. Longsheng keeps asking them questions to check that their stories match, and since Wong knows details about Chu Guo's real childhood, she realizes he's always been protecting her from afar. After Longsheng leaves, he asks Zai Meng to check on Wong's and Chu Guo's backgrounds. It turns out Zai Meng has had cameras on the apartment all along. The police know they're being hacked so they've made fake profiles for the duo. Minutes later someone knocks on the door and Wong opens it to find Zai Meng's twin brother Zai Wang. A fight ensues and Wong manages to disarm him, But Zai Wang has a second gun and opens fire. Wang hides until it's over and comes out again to continue the fight all over the apartment, destroying the furniture. Zai Meng sees the fight on the screens but isn't worried since this was always his plan. During dinner, he hacked into Chu Guo's phone and now has access to the camera inside the police station. The team across the street doesn't see the fight because Zai Meng is feeding them fake footage again. When they start getting suspicious, Chu Guo enters the place while they can still see her on the screen, so they run out to investigate. Zai Meng informs his brother that the cops are coming, so Zai Wang opens fire to force Wang to hide, then he jumps over the balcony and window using special cables to escape. The next day, the surveillance team returns to the street while other cops search Long Sheng's apartment.